We hear so much about the next big thing, the latest disruptor.
All the time. It's endless.
But have you ever thought about the business ideas that just stick around?
Mm-hmm. The ones that endure.
Today, we're doing something a bit different. Forget chasing those, fleeting trends. We're going to dive into a bunch of business models that have really proven they have staying power year after year.
Yeah, solid foundations.
Think of this as a way to get some practical knowledge. Maybe for starting something stable, a side hustle, maybe more, something long-lasting.
Exactly. We're looking past the viral stuff and focusing on businesses that tap into fundamental ongoing human needs.
Right.
These are the kinds of ventures that sort of quietly make up the backbone of the economy. They weather the storms, the ups and downs.
And we've got a really interesting list today. It comes from a source that outlines 15 of these evergreen ideas.
15 is a good number. Lots to chew on.
What really struck me was the variety. Seriously, it feels like there's something here for almost anyone, whatever your skills are or, what you're into.
Mm-hmm.
So our goal today in this deep dive is to go beyond just listing them off. We want to really dig into why they last, the core principles, and what the potential might be for you listening.
And it's fascinating, isn't it? How they all seem quite different on the surface, but they connect back to these basic human requirements.
Yeah.
Once you see that connection, their staying power makes a lot more sense.
Okay, let's get into it then.
Yeah.
So the source kicks things off by looking at our most, basic needs, keeping ourselves fed, and making life a bit easier.
Yeah, sustenance and convenience. That brings us to the first couple of areas.
Right. First up, food and beverage.
Can't get much more fundamental than that. We all need to eat every single day.
Yep.
But what's interesting here is how the industry itself keeps evolving, even though the core needs stays the same.
Totally. People got to eat. That's fixed.
Yeah.
But how they eat, that changes constantly.
Mm.
The source mentions a whole spectrum, like food trucks, organic cafes.
Meal prep services.
Right. Meal prep, catering to specific diets, plant-based, keto, whatever it is, even really niche cultural foods. Or like high protein stuff.
There's a lot of room for specialization.
And what I liked was the mention of starting without, breaking the bank. Farmers markets, maybe a certified home kitchen, pop-up.
Lower barrier to entry options, yeah.
So beyond just having tasty food, what are the keys to making those lower cost food businesses actually work?
That's a good question. I mean, great food is table stakes, right? But the successful ones often get really good at building a local following. They know their customers.
Right.
They might use social media really heavily, connect directly with people. They create a unique vibe, even if it's simple. And they're lean, managing costs, minimizing waste.
Lean and connected makes sense. The source also mentioned needing a twist.
Yeah. Differentiation.
It can't just be another burger place, right?
Exactly. You need a reason for people to choose you. That twist could be anything, a unique recipe, super local ingredients, catering to a niche nobody else is serving properly, or just a really cool brand personality.
Yeah, something memorable.
Mm-hmm. It gives you that edge.
And the practical bit about using social media, showing the process, the people behind it, creating that connection.
It builds a community, not just customers. People become advocates and, zooming out. That's why food businesses endure. Everyone needs to eat. Simple as that.
Okay, so moving from the immediate meal to something more about ongoing convenience, maybe a little treat the subscription box business.
Ah, yes, the curated surprise.
I have to admit, the idea of a box showing up with cool stuff tailored for me,
Yeah.
it's appealing. What makes that model so sticky?
Well, it hits a few psychological buttons, doesn't it? There's the obvious convenient stuff just arrives, saves you time, effort.
Right.
Then there's that element of discovery and surprise.
Yeah, the what's in the box.
What's in the box feeling.
Yeah.
Exactly. And crucially, as the source points out, it means recurring revenue for the business. That's much more stable than relying on one-off sales.
That recurring revenue is huge. So what does it take to curate a good box? It can't just be random items thrown together.
No, definitely not. You've really got to understand your audience, like you said. Know what they like, what they'll find valuable. The source mentioned wellness, books, coffee, snacks, self-care. Very targeted themes. Good curation means creating a cohesive experience, a sense of value, maybe even a story around the products each month. Introducing new brands, maybe teaching something.
Like a journey.
Sort of, yeah. And the source mentioned Community 2 forums, exclusive content. That helps keep people subscribed. Logistics are definitely a thing to figure out, but Yeah, it can be very profitable because of that loyalty and recurring income.
Okay, let's switch gears a bit. Another really fundamental thing, the spaces we live and work in. The source talks about needing clean and functional environments.
Right, this taps into that basic human desire for order, comfort, hygiene. Cleaning services are a prime example.
Homes, offices, Airbnbs now too, post-renovation cleanups. The need is everywhere.
It really is, and the source rightly highlights how scalable it is. You know, you can start solo, just yourself and some supplies.
And then grow it into a full-blown company.
Exactly, hire staff, get more clients. But what are some of the hurdles when you try to scale up like that?
I'd guess finding good, reliable people is tough. And keeping the quality consistent as you get bigger.
Those are big ones for sure.
The source did mention the rise of green cleaning, though, using eco-friendly stuff. That seems like a smart angle now.
It really is. Building a solid team, good training, quality checks, that's vital for scaling. Using tech for scheduling helps too. And yeah, that green cleaning focus, it appeals to a growing market segment, and it's a great marketing tool. You can stand out, maybe even charge a bit more.
Makes sense.
And on the flip side of the environment, things break.
Yes, they certainly do. Which leads us to repair and maintenance.
An enduring need. The source lists things like, obviously, phones and computers, but also plumbing, bikes, appliances.
Stuff we rely on daily. What's nice here, the source points out, is the lower startup cost, often. Maybe just your tools and some word-of-mouth marketing to start.
That's a big plus. Lower overhead than retail, for example. Reputation is everything, though. You need people to trust your work. Word of mouth is huge.
Right.
And you can specialize, right? Just do iPhones or be a general handyman. Lots of flexibility depending on your skills.
It allows for finding your niche. Okay, let's move into learning and growth, personal and professional development. The source identifies this ongoing need, especially now, to learn new skills.
It's that human drive to adapt, to grow, and online education, digital courses. That sector has just exploded because it directly meets that need, whether it's for your career, a hobby,
or just curiosity.
Exactly. But what makes an online course actually good? Something that helps people learn effectively.
Yeah, it can't just be a recording of someone talking, can it? The source mentions platforms like Udemy, Coursera, but also doing it on your own site.
More control that way.
And that example of how to start a YouTube channel course making passive income for years.
Ooh.
Wow.
It shows the potential, right? But good courses usually have interactive bits, quizzes, assignments, maybe a forum for students to chat.
Community.
Clear goals, well-structured content, engaging delivery. That all matters. And the source mentioned adding value with things like worksheets, PDFs, tangible takeaways.
Makes the learning stick.
And a supportive community can really boost engagement and, crucially, completion rates.
Building on that personal growth idea, the source also talks about personal development and life coaching. People seem to be investing more in mindset well-being.
Yeah, there's definitely a growing awareness of how important that stuff is. Mental, emotional, physical health, it's all connected. And the source notes that your own experiences, if you've overcome something or mastered an area, can be really valuable for guiding others. So how does someone turn that experience into, like, a successful coaching business?
Authenticity seems key, right? Being genuine, connecting with people.
Absolutely.
The source suggested starting one-on-one to get experience, then maybe expanding to group workshops or memberships later. That sounds logical.
It's a good pathway. Build confidence, refine your approach.
And social media again. Seems crucial for finding clients, sharing your message.
Authenticity is #1 in coaching. People want real guidance, relatable stories. Building trust through valuable content online attracts the right people. Offering maybe free intro sessions, being clear about how you help, that builds confidence in potential clients. It's about that connection.
Okay, shifting again. Let's look at areas where businesses and individuals just consistently need skilled help. The source covers a few key ones.
Yeah, as things get more complex, specialized skills are more in demand. Content creation and freelancing is a huge area.
Writing, design, video, social media management. The list goes on.
Really valuable skills. And the source mentions the flexibility, global reach, working from anywhere, using platforms like Fiverr or Upwork initially.
But also building your own brand, your own website.
Right. So in such a crowded space, how do freelancers really stand out and get good, consistent work?
Good question. It's got to be more than just listing skills, like you said. That portfolio website showing your best work, testimonials. That seems essential.
Proof of quality.
Networking too, probably. And maybe specializing. Becoming the go-to person for, say, tech writing or nonprofit graphic design.
Specializing helps, definitely. And the source is right about creating your own content, blog posts, videos about your expertise. That builds authority, attracts better clients, maybe even sponsorships down the line.
Okay, another big one for businesses. Digital marketing agencies. It feels like everyone needs help getting noticed online.
It's pretty much non-negotiable now, isn't it? A strong online presence is vital. So yeah, constant demand for skills like SEO, getting found on Google.
Running Facebook ads.
Email campaigns, analyzing the data to see what's actually working, all that stuff.
Businesses need leads.
They do. So how does an agency prove its worth and keep clients long-term?
Show results, I guess? Tangible proof that what they're doing is bringing in business.
Data talks.
The source also mentioned how scalable it is. Start solo, grow into an agency, and you can do it from anywhere.
Yeah.
Which is a big plus for many.
Absolutely. Showing that return on investment with clear reports is key. Staying updated because digital marketing changes so fast. Offering a range of services. It directly addresses that core business need. Get more customers.
Staying with business needs, accounting and bookkeeping. Maybe not glamorous, but essential.
Oh, incredibly essential. Managing money is complex, time-consuming, and you have to get it right, especially with taxes and regulations.
Totally.
The source calls it recession-resistant, which makes sense. Businesses always need accounting help. Good times are bad. Freelancers too, even individuals.
Yeah, that's a good point. So how are accountants adapting with all the software now?
Right, technology is changing things. The source suggested things like starting solo, doing online consultations, even selling like financial templates.
Smart, offering different levels of service.
And specializing again, maybe focusing on tech startups or restaurants. Using cloud software makes remote work easy. Offering advice beyond just bookkeeping, financial planning, forecasting, that adds huge value. It's indispensable.
And the last one in this skilled assistance group, tech support and IT services. Another absolute must-have today.
Couldn't live without it, right? We rely so heavily on tech. When it goes wrong, panic.
Yeah, pretty much.
So the source lists the obvious: computer help, networks, software issues, and the big one now, cybersecurity.
Oh yeah, cybersecurity is huge.
Businesses depend on smooth tech. So with cyber threats always rising, how do IT providers actually help protect clients, especially small businesses?
Good question. Seems overwhelming. The source mentioned remote support being key, setting up secure networks, data security.
It's about being proactive. Firewalls, good antivirus, regular security checks, but also educating clients about risks like phishing emails.
Training, yeah.
For small businesses without their own IT person, managed security services offer that ongoing protection. As tech gets more integrated, the need for good IT support just keeps growing.
Okay, let's focus now on personal well-being, caring for ourselves and others. The source highlights this fundamental need for care and support.
Right, covering physical, emotional, social needs. And health and wellness coaching is booming because people are focusing more on their health.
Definitely more health conscious now.
The source mentions qualifications like being a personal trainer or nutritionist, but also just having a powerful personal story of transformation.
That can be really inspiring.
So how do these coaches build up clients and show their value?
Trust seems huge here, and showing results. The source listed different ways to deliver the service: one-on-one calls, group programs, ebooks, memberships. Lots of options.
Flexibility is good.
And the tip about using visuals on social media before and after pics, workout clips that makes total sense for attracting people. Plus, it must feel good helping people get healthier, like the source says.
Oh, absolutely. Building credibility online with useful content, testimonials, that's key. Maybe offering free intro sessions, being really clear about what results clients can expect. And yeah, those visuals are powerful. That emotional reward is a big part of it.
Okay, another vital area of care, childcare, an absolutely constant need for families.
Always. Parents need support, especially working parents. The source lists the different types: daycare, after-school care, babysitting, nanny agencies.
Right. It mentions regulations and trust being critical, obviously.
Paramount. Safety, nurturing environment, qualified staff.
But it emphasizes the consistent demand. Families always need this. It's emotionally rewarding, too, providing that support.
The cycle of family life guarantees the need. Using tech for parent communication, maybe offering flexible hours, that helps. It's just crucial support for families and society.
And the last one in this care group, pets. The pet industry is massive, and people need help looking after their furry friends.
Or scaly, or feathered. But yeah, the bond is strong, and people spend a lot on their pets.
Totally.
So the source lists things like dog walking, grooming, pet sitting, training, lots of services. How do you build a business here, especially starting small?
Word of mouth seems key, like the source suggests, building that local reputation.
Trust again.
It also hinted at expanding later, maybe selling pet products or creating pet content online.
Building trust, showing you genuinely care for animals. That's essential. Personalized service, being reliable, networking locally. And yeah, expanding into retail or content is definitely an option. With so many pets out there, the demand is solid.
Okay, let's pivot one last time to a different fundamental drive: building long-term wealth and financial security. The source has two main ideas here.
Yeah, focusing on lasting financial stability. First up, real estate investment. Historically, it's seen as a pretty reliable way to build wealth, even with market ups and downs.
Rentals, flipping houses, Airbnb, even land flipping, the source lists a few ways.
Different strategies.
But it can seem intimidating, right? Needing a lot of capital up front. What are some ways in for people without huge savings?
Good point. The source mentioned house hacking, living in one unit, renting out others.
More.
Also wholesaling or even real estate crowdfunding platforms that let you invest smaller amounts.
Lowers the barrier.
The key, as the source stresses, is market knowledge. Really understanding your local area. And thinking long-term, maybe building generational wealth.
It requires homework, for sure. But the long-term potential is clear.
Definitely. Understanding the market, having a strategy, connecting with agents, brokers, it all helps. It's a major asset class for a reason.
And the second path to wealth in the source, e-commerce, selling stuff online. It's just huge now and doesn't seem to be slowing down.
The shift online is permanent, really. E-commerce lets you sell physical or digital products, potentially globally.
And the entry point can be pretty low, right? The source mentions drop shipping where you don't hold inventory.
Right, the supplier ships directly. Or print on demand for customized things like t-shirts or mugs.
Makes it accessible. Platforms like Shopify or Etsy make setting up a store easier too.
Relatively straightforward to get started, yeah.
But, as the source notes, just having a store isn't enough. Competition is fierce. You need a strong brand, good marketing.
Absolutely critical. Building a brand people recognize. Using digital marketing effectively, social media, SEO, maybe ads, and great customer service to keep people coming back. That builds loyalty. The potential online is massive, but you've got to do it right.
So that's our run through 15 evergreen business ideas pulled from our source. What really stands out to me is none of these are about jumping on the latest bandwagon.
No, not at all.
It's about finding those fundamental human needs and figuring out smart, relevant ways to meet them right now.
Exactly. These models have proven they can last, they can adapt, and the big takeaway, I think, is that consistency and focus, even starting small, can build something really sustainable in any of these areas.
It definitely gives you a lot to think about. So for you listening, maybe take a moment. Which of these basic needs really resonates with you? What aligns with your skills, your interests? Because even the simplest idea on this list, cleaning, food, pets, can be approached in fresh, innovative ways. Don't just look at the label. Think about how you could uniquely meet that core human need.